Hello and welcome to the Pens and Pixels Popcast. I'm your host, Cal G, and to my left is the coordinator extraordinaire,
Mike Kent.
The Popcast is a place to come to hear about the art and news of video games, comics, and movies.
And this week we won't have a second segment because we'll be releasing a spoiler cast for Logan, which we just got out of seeing, which was great. So head on over to that after this if you want and listen to that. And we'll also be releasing a first impressions of Horizon Zero Dawn. We haven't finished the game, but we've chunked in a heavy amount of hours.
Yep.
And I've been thoroughly enjoying that game. So if you want to hear us basically suck off what's the developer's name? Guerrilla Games. Right there, just orally and audio full.
Yep.
For like 30 minutes.
It's just dick sucking for.
We did find a couple of small faults, but most of the time we're like, it's not really a fault because I can't tell you not like this. It's perfect. But
it's so good though.
It's so good. Yes. So if you want to hear us go on about that game,
I almost think it's like the first game that it's the first game we both definitely like this much on this podcast ever.
Yeah. It's also one of the first ones I've noticed when we were going over it that you and I both just agreed so much. Mm-hmm. Because like sometimes it'd be like, I really like the conversation system, and you're like, oh, well, it was fine.
Yeah.
This one was just like,
everything.
Oh god, yeah, oh god, yeah.
More,
harder, deeper.
Yeah, or a lot of times we like different games where we can't really have it back and forth, and I'm just like, I fucking love Doom, and you're like, that's a game, or like whatever. So yeah, go give that a listen.
I've listened to the podcast, and our responses to each other are exactly the same for when we run into that situation. It's always, I'm glad you like that.
Yeah. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, that's the thing, because we have a lot of similar tastes, but we also have a lot of differing tastes too. So, but I think that also makes podcasts interesting.
If we're both just sitting here, isn't it great? It's great. Is that good? Good.
We only like this thing.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to have another one of these coming up with Mass Effect, so hold on to your shorts. So for this week, we're only going to be doing a Newsy news segment. And we have quite a bit of news, and mostly game-related, actually. Not a ton of movie news this week. So we're going to jump right into that. If there is any Pens Pixels housekeeping?
Just to make sure to join us in CGX and come see me and Cal if you're a fan of the podcast or just a fan of our artwork. And 13 other artists that'll be joining us at Capital Game Expo on April 1st and 2nd.
Is there anywhere to check out where to go here? You go to facebook.com/pensandpixels.
You mean where to buy the tickets?
Yeah.
Oh no, you go to capitalgameexpo.com.
Capitalgameexpo.com.
Yeah.
Be there.
I have more information on the actual art show at Pens and Pixels under the events section, but
pensandpixels.ca.
But don't look for the tickets there. Look for them on capitalgameexpo.com.
I believe there's some other dickhead who has pensandpixels.com.
Yeah.
And it's a really outdated looking website that I don't think has been updated since 1998. Very strange.
I have every single domain except for .com. Yeah. .net, .everything.
Do you have .bike?
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. .bike. Into the Newsy news! First up, Logan related news, kind of.
Sort of.
Earlier in the week, Patrick Stewart said he watched the movie and he was driven to say, I can't play Professor X again. It's just this is such a perfect note to end it on.
He's also said that on an interview with the European talk show host that's gay. Really big guy.
Piers Morgan.
No, beard. Older.
I don't know.
Fuck, I forgot his name. He always has him sit on an orange couch and he makes them all talk.
I know what show you're talking about, but I can't think of the host.
Oh my god. Edward Norton?
No, that's the guy from Fight Club.
Fight Club.
And the first thing
Graham Norton.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, Graham Norton. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you were close. All right. Yeah. I see where you were going mentally.
But on that show, he had an interview with him and Logan. Fuck.
Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman.
He said, in a very romancy interview. It was very romancy. They spent a lot of time hugging and grabbing each other, actually. They did. Watch it.
Sounds hot.
He said, you know what? I think this is it. Me officially saying that, I want this to be my last note being Professor X.
Mm. Yeah. And now, he's rebutted in the same week, saying, in a Facebook Live event hosted by MTV's Josh Horowitz, the question came up as to whether or not Patrick Stewart was truly done with X-Men, and he walked back his previous statement a bit, saying, I would have said yes, but the discussion just now about Deadpool makes me think, well, maybe there is a proper justification for the revival of Charles Xavier. That was more of Sean Connery.
I was going to say.
That's okay, old man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he seems to think that,
He wants to come back for a Deadpool Logan crossover movie.
Yeah, discussion just now about Deadpool makes me think, well, maybe there is a proper justification for the revival of Charles Xavier.
Also can't happen at all because every single time Deadpool makes a joke, he makes an Aussie accent joke referring directly to Hugh Jackman, right? And that joke now is mute if Logan shows up as like some sort of North American white guy.
Well, I don't think Logan's going to show up. I think Hugh Jackman even said, like, I'm not going to appear in the next Deadpool film.
No. But that's what I mean, even if they brought someone else, because someone's going to replace him, like, they can't leave Wolverine out anymore, like, that's just not an option.
I bet we're going to go a couple years without Wolverine.
They're going to go a couple of years, but I mean, that's what I mean by a Logan-Deadpool crossover, so, like, how likely is this thing going to happen? Does it mean that Patrick Stewart might come back to do Professor X in another movie?
Yeah, Deadpool movie, yeah.
Or something else?
I could see him coming in for a throwaway joke or something.
Yeah, I could see him coming in for something really quick and small. I mean, as an integral character, I don't know. Or the other question is Patrick Stewart just going senile now, and he's just like, I've played the movie with the claws. Are you going to play it again? I don't do movies. Well, are you going to play again? I love Wolverine. Like, you know.
Yeah, perhaps. I think he's a little more there than that, but he's Sir Patrick Stewart. Treat him with some respect.
No, he is.
He was fucking knighted, I think.
Yes.
What's it like to be knighted, do you think?
Well, you got a sword put on your head, and then you got a little pin, and you go home.
Wow, Mike just taking all the magic out of being knighted.
No, everyone who's ever been knighted, even Patrick Stewart, all say, like, at the end of the day, it was just a ceremony. It was really nice to be acknowledged by your monarch, but it doesn't mean anything.
Totally, it doesn't mean anything. Also, I've heard... I don't want to spread slander, so take this with a grain of salt. I think it's that dude who's really famous for playing soccer, Bend It Like Beckham guy. Beckham? David Beckham.
David Beckham.
I heard he's, like, anal about being knighted. Like, he really wants to be knighted and, like, keeps trying to, like, wiggle his way into being knighted.
Really?
And he throws tantrums when, like, someone else gets knighted.
Oh.
Isn't that fucking weird?
It is weird.
I've heard that. Don't know if it's true, but spread it like wildfire.
That's a good for a British person, you have to understand that in the rules of proper polite and curtsy and all that other shit, to whine about something is a good way of never getting it. Do you think the Queen's going to be like, oh, well, yes, of course, he whined?
Well, I think it's like an in-private thing, but he's done it so much, it started to come out, people have talked about it type thing.
Probably.
I don't think he's not like on Twitter being like, why the fuck did Patrick Stewart get knighted? I want to get knighted. Did you see Bend It with Beckham? Bend It Like Beckham? Was Amanda Bynes in that? I'm not really sure. No, that was the other one. Amanda Bynes she played a man.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was that called? She played like a dude to be on a soccer team.
Mm-hmm. I forget. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Amanda Bynes, go check her out.
He's just sitting around and he's just like, doesn't the Queen watch soccer or football?
Yeah, like, what do you deserve to be knighted for?
Yeah.
Like, acting is like this noble profession and all this shit. Like, you're a soccer player.
You're a soccer player.
You play footy. You play football on the telly. Like,
that's a good way of getting rid of all of our UK listeners.
No, they love it. We love football over here in the podcast. We're really good at sports.
I actually do. I love going to the World Cup.
Soccer was the only game or sport I grew up being like good at playing.
I was really good at it too, actually.
Yeah, that was the only one. I didn't care for a lot of the other ones I had to play. I had to play fucking baseball. I didn't care for it. Hockey I wasn't good at, which is blasphemy as a Canadian.
How about basketball? Same thing.
Yeah, I was never good. I'm also short, so I'm not good at basketball. Although, I mean, there's a short basketball player who's pro, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
He must have a distinct disadvantage, though. Okay, moving on. Next up, Jared Leto is circling a Tron reboot at Disney. The studio is in very early stages of development for a new Tron movie with the Oscar-winning actor Jared Leto circling the star, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. No writer's been hired, no filmmakers involved. Justin Springer, who co-produced Tron Legacy and exec produced the Tom Cruise film Oblivion, will produce. Leto and his producing partner Emma Ludbrooke will also be involved in some producing capacity if the project moves forward. Sources say this is a new project and not a direct sequel, and is being built out of the source code of the deleted Tron 3 script. I see they're trying to be cute there. Leto would play a character named Ares, who has not appeared on screen before, but was a key player in that script. At this stage, it's too early to tell, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about that?
Well, let's hit on first thing first. Have you done Tron? Watched Tron?
I've never watched... Let me tell you my experience with Tron. I saw it referenced in a lot of things, and I didn't understand what the reference was for. Thought it was just a video game. Then Tron Legacy comes... I mean, I eventually understood that it used to be an old Disney movie or whatever.
Yeah.
I never watched it. Didn't care to. Then Tron Legacy was coming out, and Jeff Bridges is in that?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, and
he was in the first one.
He was a young old man or whatever in that movie.
Yeah.
Cool. I got drunk at an acquaintance's house with my friends, and this guy would not let us leave without watching parts of Tron Legacy where he just kept pausing it on Olivia Munn. Yeah. Olivia Munn's ass. Whatever scene would show her ass, he just kept pausing it.
Was it Olivia Munn?
I think so. Maybe not.
I forget. There's a girl. Yeah.
Yeah, but he kept because she was wearing some spandex shit.
Yeah.
And he kept being like, look at her ass. Like every time we were just like, okay, we're just drinking gin. Like, okay, man, like we got it. We want to leave now. And he's like, just stay more. There's more of this movie where her ass shows. You know, it's just like, holy fuck. Anyways, he was annoying. That's my experience with Tron.
That doesn't sound like a good experience.
No.
But
I thought Tron Legacy looked real cool when all the bits started forming around them in one of the parts that he fast-forwarded through.
That sounds exciting. I'm a big Tron fan. I watched the original Tron all the time. It was a big movie for me. Tron Legacy was a big disappointment at the end of the day.
That's too bad. I heard that as a general thing.
Yeah.
People were
look-wise, it wasn't what it was supposed to be. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. But it wasn't the movie I wanted it to be. I do want them to do another Tron movie to do it correctly. And yeah, they do need to move away from the stories of the original, like, whole Flynn thing. Like, that story's just done. Like, move on. And I would like to see more Tron. No questions asked. It's an interesting side of this is that everyone's like, oh, Jared Leto. Don't you feel that since he did the Joker, he still needs to redeem himself?
He's tainted a little bit.
Like, right now, I'm angry that he's even looking for another role. Like, he should just go wallow and never work again. Because I'm just like, how dare you?
As much as I didn't necessarily care for his Joker, I can't put the blame on him necessarily.
No, I don't care about his Joker. Like, it was fine. It wasn't amazing to me, but it was fine. It was his actions to it. You know, use condoms, dead pigs, and fucking anal beads.
Yeah, all that shit.
Like, that is him as an actor, and you can tell, right? 'Cause, like, that's the kind of person he is. He's got to be real arty and wear, like, I love that meme of him sitting and with a jaw open, looking at the guy walking in the mall.
Yeah, he's watching some fashion show, and he's wearing
and then,
it like
later
the
on,
next
he's
day.
wearing it the next day. He's like, with his jaws open, and it's like,
yeah, that's perfect.
It just describes him to a T. And after everything he did with the Joker, and then bitched afterwards about how he didn't get enough screen time, I'm kind of just like, you don't deserve to go work. You need to earn yourself back to being cool.
Yeah, I don't have the reverence for Tron to say he doesn't deserve this project, but I can see where you're coming from.
Oh, it's not even just this project. He could be applying for fucking being, I don't know, one of the next hillbillies. I don't care. Like, he doesn't deserve it until he's
in Hills Have Eyes 3.
Yeah.
He's just playing one of
the hillbillies.
He's like this gorgeous, like, chiseled looking man. Like, how...
He's just saying, hey, Paul.
That's our good looking one. He turned out all right.
No, they're all just like, he's weird looking.
Yeah, he's the freak among them. Yeah. But he could actually infiltrate, like, the normal humans and, like, actually, like, set up some sort of...
No, he's, like, sitting up top and he's, like making himself tea and he's wearing all proper and clean and stuff. And he's like, I don't get the killing. I don't want to do it, Paul.
I don't get the inbreeding. I just don't get it.
You will kill, boy. You will kill.
We're gonna trap these tourists and we're gonna fucking eat them. Yeah. You're gonna go in there and prove yourself useful. That'd be a great movie. I'd watch the fuck out of this.
You're gonna have sex with your sister?
You're gonna make us another ugly-looking child.
Ugly baby. Ugly-looking baby.
Anyways, yeah, so potentially you're stoked about Tron's return. I'm
stoked about Tron's return. I'm almost, just because of Jared Leto's actions, I'm just kind of like, you don't deserve any roles quite yet, because you need to earn, like, do something.
I'm envisioning that he seems so over that now that I assume he just took his contract, like, and rolled a fat blunt with it and just fucking smoked the shit out of it and was like, I don't know where that is. I've never played the Joker. Like, he's just gonna act like he doesn't have to come back for Suicide Squad 2. He doesn't have to. They're just gonna recast him quietly.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Deadpool 2 wants Stranger Things star David Harbour for cable.
That's a great choice.
Yeah, this is a great choice. If you don't know who David Harbour is, he is the central cop in Stranger Things. I forget his name. This isn't like a for sure thing. The rumor is that they're eyeing him.
Is that as far as it's gone?
Yeah, there's nothing confirmed. The Wrap reports that Fox is very interested in the actor, but it has gone as far as giving him a screen test. Collider cautions that nothing's set in stone, but reaffirms that Harbour is one of a handful of actors who are being seriously considered for the part. And I think he would make a good choice. My only thing is, I think Deadpool 2 is supposed to be filming soon, and he wouldn't be able to get as jacked as he should be for cable, because Cable is like the most giant man on the planet. Mm-hmm. He's so big.
Well,
he's unrealistically big.
I'm sure there's an unhealthy way of doing it, and we've watched lots of stars transform in like 4 weeks under some sort of supervision, right? I mean, even Chris Pratt's transformation, while it was a little more gradual, it was pretty...
I'd say that one was pretty gradual, I think.
No, because like he did the initial transformation for the Osama bin Laden movie there, the one where they take him out.
I know what you're talking about. I want to say
Dark
District
30?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say District 13.
District 13.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but his transformation was right before that, and he just maintained it, but the span between it was like 4 months or something like that. It was really small. So he could change a lot. But the thing is his role for Stranger Things requires him to be
a little more schlubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like
I
he's
drink-
not like a total fat ass or anything.
Yeah,
but
I drink beer and take too many pills. Like that's supposed to be his thing.
Yeah.
And I've actually noticed that recently he's schlubbed up a bit more. So like, but I like him like that. It's again like Chris Pratt is sexy as he is, like with those sculpted muscles and everything, and that's great. But I found him cuter. End of Parks and Rec, still a little bit pudgy. Like he was just more human and adorable, and like that was like because like looking at a model or a star, female or male, and looking at them as like a sex symbol, whatever. You're like, I'd fuck that, and then move on because you're never gonna fuck that.
True.
But the stars where they're a little bit more human and adorable, and you're like, oh, if I met that,
I could get with that maybe.
I could even like have a relationship with him. He's human, right? And that's kind of David Harbour. He's like
I see.
A human
It
man.
reaffirms your fantasy a little more.
He's a human man.
They are casting human men in movies now. Can you believe it? I think David Harbour is a great choice. Surprisingly so. He never even crossed my mind once for a Cable or anything really. Where I was like, he would be a great fit. But like when they said it, I was like, oh yeah, totally.
He crossed my mind, but then I kept on thinking about the fact that he'd be filming Stranger Things and then crossing the time over top of that because like as soon as this Stranger Things is done, they'll take a little break and then they'll start filming again. Like the timing would have to be so precise to get him in.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's going to happen in that context. But yeah, amazing. Like he kind of plays Cable as his character in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So
serious, no nonsense. Yeah.
Kind of gruff and rumbly. Has that like hidden anger thing.
Yeah.
Going on.
He's got that serious like look in his face. Yeah. Like totally. Yeah. I think he'd be a good choice if he does get it.
Size.
And obviously, we're both big fans of fucking Stranger Things, so we'd love to see all the actors have great success from that.
I would also not want them to be sucked away from Stranger Things until like season 4. It's like I want them to just like to be like, you have no other jobs.
Just film the entire series right now while they're still kids. All right. Next up.
Well, it's kind of actually the truth. Actually, they're probably literally going like, you guys can't do anything.
Either that, or they're gonna have to write in that they're getting older, right? Like that's gonna be the thing. Neil, this is getting into the game news, kind of. We're actually segueing very nicely with a game/movie news item. Yeah, you're welcome. So Neil Druckmann, the head of Naughty Dog,
our god,
states Uncharted film script does not have the support of Naughty Dog.
So this is not the only thing I've heard. I've heard lots and lots and lots of things coming out from people at Naughty Dog publicly saying that they're not happy with the company. Who's doing the movie?
Joe Carnahan.
Joe Carnahan, and
he's right. He wrote the script and he's directing.
The studio that they're signed with.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But
let me read what's happening here. So Joe Carnahan said, the script went in and the script it got huge. It got a big round of applause at Sony. I guess Sony's doing it. That makes sense. Sony Pictures. They were very, very happy with it. So I don't know. We'll see when the casting comes out. Sean Levy was brilliant. We worked together for a couple months on it. There was a lot of pressure because I've got friends over there at Sony. I mentioned a couple names. So I felt an additional weight of like, I gotta deliver them something they'll make. It's got 4 of the most insane. I've never written crazier shit in terms of an action sequence than what's in that movie. I'm very happy with the script. And listen, it was important that I got Amy Hennig's approval. Her and Nolan North. And what I've heard is the Naughty Dog guys are really happy with it. But who knows? That could be like Donald Trump hearing something. That may not be true at all. Now, Neil Druckmann has been adamant before that he knows nothing about the movie, hasn't seen the script for the movie, nor has he or anyone else at Naughty Dog consulted about the movie. After this recent interview, he responded once more on Twitter, saying, a recent quote from the writer of the Uncharted film, "We know nothing about the film, wish he'd stop implying that he has our support." And then to update this story, to add further clarity, this is not the first time Carnahan has suggested that Neil or Naughty Dog were involved in the movie's production. He said, I sat down with Uncharted director Amy Hennig and sat down with Nolan North and sat down with Uncharted writer and director Neil Druckmann and created this thing and took them through what I was doing and what I was thinking, and they loved it. And then Druckmann responded back then. He said, FYI, I haven't met the movie writer, don't know his take on the material, therefore have no opinion on the script.
Which is really discouraging. So whatever company and all that, everyone now has been really, from Naughty Dog and the crew from the original Uncharted games, have been really, really apparent, going like, look, we haven't touched this thing at all. We have no clue if it's going to be any good. We have no clue about anything.
So the weird part about this for me is
angry stuff. Like the way he wrote it, like, we know nothing about the film. Wish he'd stop implying that he has our support. Like, that's like, fuck you.
Well, he doesn't want his name on something that's going to be bad, obviously, right?
But I mean, like, they have, like, if they were talking to each other and they were all happy with it, these guys, like, Naughty Dog's been like, don't put us with this.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, too, it's the first quote, honestly, from Joe Carnahan, the one that's more recent, sounds innocent enough because he said, "I've heard the Naughty Dog guys are really happy with it, but who knows? This could be like Donald Trump hearing something that may not be true at all." Like he says that, and it's totally true. Like someone at Sony might just be like, "The Naughty Dog guys love this too," and he's like, "Oh, good," Then that sounds innocent enough, and that's fine. But this earlier one where he like literally names them and says he sat down, that's a lot more
and had like
dubious.
A personal,
like, oh, I sat down with the fucking 2 directors and the lead voice actor.
And now he's backpedaling. I don't know, this just makes me really afraid for the quality of this film, because if Druckmann and Nolan North and Amy Hennig are not like even trying to be involved, or they're literally just going like, my hands are off, they're not interested in meeting or sitting down and talking, and or just afraid of it. Whatever the situation is where they're so repelled, but they're going to be public and be like, we haven't talked to them.
Well, I don't think they're not. I just think that it's totally different. It's the movies part of the studio where, and there's not part of it at all.
Yeah, but if they had the opportunity to get involved, they probably would, right?
Sure, maybe, yeah.
And the fact that they're being so fervent about like not being involved, it makes me a little bit more afraid. I'm like, Jesus, this is gonna so not be Uncharted. Like, this is gonna be.
I personally don't care because I don't like Uncharted that much.
No.
But Carnahan has made good action movies at least before. His character work is always not super great, but he has a good palette to go off. He has a good like base to go from here, right? He has fucking Nathan Drake, so one of the most charming characters of the last 15 years or so, I've been told. So like, I think the action sequences will probably be at least good, but yeah, will it have the heart and charm that the Naughty Dog fans have come to expect from Uncharted? Maybe, probably not. Maybe not.
But that's the thing. Uncharted isn't anything special except for the fact that the characters are amazing, because you've got some of the best writers in industry on either side involved. Neil Druckmann can create some extraordinary stories based on people.
That he can.
So if it's not a...
It's weird. I'm a Naughty Dog fan purely based on Last of Us. Well, I mean, I like Jak and Daxter, but that's old era Naughty Dog, and Crash Bandicoot. Like, the company has changed since then and has different people working for it now.
Well, my pinnacle for Neil Druckmann, at the end of the day, is based off of fucking
Last of Us.
However, playing Uncharted 4, the dialogue and the character writing and everything like that was so well done. I was like, clearly, it's not just like Last of Us was this
some fluke or something.
No, this gem that Neil Druckmann had inside of him, and it's the only one that's ever going to be a gem for him. Clearly, he has a talent in general just to write amazing shit. So, like, again, this like chance for them to make another video game movie, and that's why I'm invested in it all, because I don't care about Uncharted all that much. Like I said, I've played them, but it's usually because Uncharted always comes out in the biggest lull of the year, and it's just like, it's the only AAA game for 6 months, and you're like, all right, fine. So I don't really care, but video game movies still haven't succeeded, and
they never will.
They
just never will. Gore Verbinski was going to make a Bioshock movie way back when, but he insisted it be rated R, as it should be, because it's a fucking Bioshock movie. And the studio was like, no, it's got to be PG-13. And he was like, nope, and the whole thing dropped.
I mean, like, anime movies now are going to be a thing, because it's apparently these are turning out great, hopefully. I mean, if Ghost in the Shell works out, even though
we're going to be getting everything.
Even though they changed the story on that, not okay.
They're going to be doing fucking Studio Ghibli live-action movies, probably. All right, next up, this is just to clarify on a rumor we reported on last week. We reported on a Batman game, one of 2 that we reported on, actually.
Which I said sounded like bullshit in the first place. It just did not sound right. You don't make a Batman game with Owlman as your villain.
It was one of those things, though, again, that was so... The concept was so mundane that it was like, why would you lie about this?
Yeah, they're just like, oh, it's Arkham City, or whatever the last
one. So it was a sequel to Arkham Origins, the spin-off one that WB Montreal made, not Rocksteady, the main series games. It was just a thing about that, and Jason Schreier from Kotaku came into the thread and said, spoke to a couple people who think this is BS. Also, it's a random Reddit account with no previous posts. I think if you were going to leak something, you'd make a new account with no posts, as no track you. I think that's kind of stupid. But he also was adamant about the fact that he had previously reported we reported on his Damian Wayne game rumor, because he was at the last Video Game Awards, he was expecting it to get dropped. He thought there was going to be Batman on stage, and he was like, oh, that didn't get revealed. Weird. And then there was the whole thing with the March 8th date, which now is reserved for gameplay being revealed of the Shadow of War game, which is a Lord of the Rings game. So maybe some wires got crossed there. Who knows? it sounds like this Damian Wayne thing is still going to be a thing, but the Arkham Origins sequel is totally made up, and I don't know why you'd bother to create that rumor in the first place.
Also, the game he made up on that post was really weird in the way that he was just like, it's basically the last Batman game, except for they got rid of the 2 annoying car components, and you fight Owlman. Like, they wouldn't make that game. That's too basic and stupid.
It seems so believable because it was so mundane. It was just like, here's another one. You know, it was like, here's another Batman game. Is what it would have been. And I don't know why you'd bother making that up.
Well, after all of their whole, like, we're done with the Batman stuff, I mean, that's, apparently not true because they made the VR game.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one wouldn't have been by Rocksteady.
Oh.
This would be WB Montreal.
Right. But even then, right, like, just, no, I don't know. Sorry.
Do I believe Rocksteady when they say they're done with Batman?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. I do. I believe Rocksteady's done with it.
I just contemplated in that moment of silence. All right, next up. Early concept art of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is real fucking weird.
These images will be up on the YouTube version and in the show notes. But, yeah, these are... these don't even look like they were drawn by professionals. These look like they were pulled off of DeviantArt.
DeviantArt fan art things. Yeah, okay, so what we got here, I'm going to put them on screen, but what we got here is Link on a motorcycle. Sure, I guess. If you maybe the motorcycle was named Epona, and that was the whole thing. They were like, "This is the new Epona for a new," you know,
which is like a fucking acronym or something for electronic penile,
oversized. We get there.
New
asshole. So yeah, he's on a fucking motorcycle. Looks whatever, fine. Next one is he's in this like kind of, or I guess he's in the same outfit actually. He's a weird hip hop outfit. He's wearing jeans and like a zip up vest thing, and he's got his tunic that has like a little ball beanie on the end.
He's even kind of carrying a sword like he's got a guitar. Like he's a douchebag enough to have a guitar, but now he has to have a sword. Yeah, and then he has a fucking guitar. Yeah. I mean, he's had a guitar before, don't get me wrong, in Majora's Mask. When he became a Zora, their instrument was the electric guitar, which is sick. But like, yeah, this looks so weird and goofy. It's amazing that they even thought about this. Well, they were doing the contemporary thing with the Breath of the Wild, right? Because they're like technology and magic, right? Instead of just magic. But this is in what realm in the story is him waking up in this like medieval mystical land filled with like ancient technology, magic technology? Would he wake up and just be like in fucking 20th century street clothes looking like a douchebag? Yeah, like, and then they also had an idea for Hyrule Wars, which, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, interesting. It's the most believable thing on this list of concepts, because the next one, they got a full rendered UFO in the background. Legend of Zelda Invasion.
Invasion!
With a fucking flying saucer.
And look at this alien thing on the comic on the side.
Is he not wearing pants?
I want to say that's just beige, but I don't know.
It looks like he's not wearing pants.
It does. He's wearing a skirt, and he's got a weird hood on, and there's a giant UFO with little things coming out. I don't think people would have responded very well to that. It
seems very Japanese, and they have a fucking manga about it.
Yeah,
like he's doing like a fucking alien dissection.
Yeah, look at the aliens. Yeah, there's like fucking weird things coming out of the mouth and shit. Like, this is super odd. It's.
Well, I want to know the context for these pieces. Like when they sat down and they were like hashing Zelda out, where they were like aliens. Yeah, like they ran out of that many ideas. So they sit down. They're like, okay, so Biker Link.
Okay, here let me read what happened. I guess this was also at GDC. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give this a speech, but in this alternative version known as Tracksuit Link, our hero is an angsty teenager who wears jeans, a Hyrulean track jacket, and thumbless leather gloves.
Oh. God.
He also rides a motorcycle and plays an impractical, showy flying V guitar. From the looks of it, he probably
it flies.
Flying V. Is that a style of something? Yeah. I think it is. From the looks of it, he probably gets up to no good and has blatant disregard for authority. The way he tells it, though, you're just out of touch and too old to never understand what he's going through, which involves battling an ancient manifestation of pure evil to prevent the world from falling into endless chaos.
Well, go back up.
Yeah.
So he's got right there, though. He also showed some bizarre early versions of Breath of the Wild that indicated it could have been about an alien invasion or a full-scale war.
Yeah.
So it was literally that Breath of the Wild could have been alien invasion with like a flying saucer. Why would that be the alien invasion? Like if you had alien invasion, you'd just have like the moon and have like mystical moon men or something like that, and then you have your alien invasion. Instead, they're literally going just for the Area 51.
Super fucking weird. And there's not a ton in this article talking about it. I don't know how many notes you can take on a GDC speech like this, but just super neat to see like what they go through before they get to like what is, when you look at it, you're like, that's another Zelda. You know what I mean?
I've been through the process. This is far out. Like, you start pretty far out when you begin with a game in a script. It's pretty like wide, right? Like that's a big general thing, and yeah, sometimes it's pretty wacky. Like the first time you would have seen Horizon Zero Dawn, they would have been like, all right, we're gonna have like a fucking dogs and badgers attack her, and then you know, she's gonna be this like, you know, 12-foot tall Amazon woman and shit, and then it evolves into Horizon. But there's some tie-in at the very least. There's like monsters that you're hunting and a girl.
This honestly looks like something that in the 90s, when they were before Ocarina of Time, they'd be like, well, what do the hip kids like? You know, like that kind of thing. Like, it looks fucking weird. Like,
and there's no context in the way that, like, especially since it's an established brand, that Zelda has ever looked, or sorry, Link has ever looked like this. Link has never been contemporary. Changing the brand at all is fine if you're going to do something like that, but then you have to set him in a current city. Like, it has nothing to do with fucking Breath of the Wild.
No, it's super weird.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, anyways, this is really interesting to look at. Like I said, I'll put the link in the show notes and the pictures up on YouTube, so go check them out if you're curious. Fucking odd as fuck.
Let's give you more credence to your whole, they walk up with napkin doodles.
Yeah, it's just like, what if he was hip? Like, okay, or let's explore that.
They're just scanning DeviantArt. They're like, what ideas can we get today? And they just pick DeviantArt fan art.
Modern Link is very popular and shit like that. Okay, next up, we want to kind of debunk a rumor here.
Finally, Sonic fucking having sex with Robotnik and having fucking, I don't know, Link's baby.
Yeah, he's pregnant with Link's baby.
Becomes a full fucking game.
Can we get Sega's okay on that one? No. Keep scrolling. Alright, so next up we want to debunk a rumor that we've seen going around. And like, this totally may be true, but it kind of stinks to us. And it's about some concept art that we've reported on before, actually. I'll put them up on the screen right now. But there's 3 pieces of concept art from this kind of like medieval-looking world. Not medieval, sorry, Western-looking world.
It's steampunk, futuristic, Western.
There's trains, there's cowboy gun, people with dusters, whatever the fuck, right?
Sorry, it's more just Western, not steampunk or futuristic.
Yeah, it's just Western, right?
Yeah.
And we reported on this last year at some point. This art leaked before then. This art has been on ArtStation for quite a while. It's by Ioan Dumitsuru. I can't pronounce that name. He's a freelance concept designer, and it's for a Sony undisclosed project. And before Sony Ben's game was revealed, which ended up being Days Gone, this was reported to be that.
Couldn't it just be Red Dead?
But now, no, it's not a Sony thing. Yeah. But now, like, we don't know what Sucker Punch is working on. Mm-hmm. So this art, someone else just started posting this art, and people started picking up headlines, and it's now an undisclosed project for Sony. The stuff's linked. They trademarked the name Gnomageddon, which is kind of a dumb name.
It's a dumb name.
No, it is. It's not. It's spelled like gnome, like a garden gnome. I don't know what that means.
It is literally gnome, like underpants gnome.
What does that mean, though? That must mean something else that we don't know, right?
But in the font that they've used, if this is the font that they've used, they've written it up like it's supposed to be serious. Because like if it was Gnomageddon, but it was like a cartoony game like fucking Worms or something, you know, then fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this looks like they're trying to take it very seriously, like in the way that like.
Well, I mean, the concept art's very serious, right?
Yeah.
It's a Western.
Like, Gnomageddon. And you're like, are you serious?
So the name Gnomageddon is for sure trademarked. That doesn't always mean anything, though. That could just be a property they want to work on eventually, something, right? This art has been out there for 2 years now. It's just sitting there on ArtStation. I don't know how NDAs work, like non-disclosure agreements, but are you allowed to post art for a project that is still going to come out?
Depends on the agreement.
Yeah. See, that's the gray area, right? Like, this could be for something still coming out, or because this could be a canceled project.
Well, that's the thing. If the project's canceled, it doesn't work. NDAs also have an expiry date that if, like, you're allowed to disclose artwork from it, but not the title or the project, but you're allowed to release your work as the designer before a certain point. So, like, after a certain amount of years or a certain amount of months, you're allowed to use it. Or you can get direct permission, right? So, there's a lot of different ways of getting it out there if you're ever stuck. And
so, another piece of evidence is Sucker Punch had posted jobs for an open world content designer, which is, you know, every game's open world now to an extent. This doesn't, this doesn't mean Western to me.
No.
And another one was narrative designer. Created original narrative content and believable characters for an open world game. Communicated story ideas and plans and advocate. Just very generic, like, thing. Aside from saying that their next game is going to be open world.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see this art being
like,
indicative of anything.
Can you work on a big map? Please join us.
Unless Gnomageddon means we don't understand the reference here, because it's clearly Armageddon, but with gnome. Like, unless we don't know what the fucking origin of gnome means, which is not just a small person with a beard, Like, what? Unless that means is related to something Western, I can't see where they're all putting this shit together. Aside from the fact that this is art that we just don't know what it's for.
I don't see the tie-in for the title. That's the thing. Like, where would you tie Nomageddon into Western? And is there another use for the word? Is it another fucking language or something?
If you know, tell us. Yeah. I would love to know, because this is a little bit dubious to me. But I knew I saw that art somewhere before, so...
And that's, like... What would a Nomageddon game be if it wasn't like fucking a comedy game or a cartoony fun game of some kind, right? Unless it's like fucking.
That's the thing. Like even if
South Park and it's like step 1,
even if
step
even
4,
if
Armageddon.
Even if the Noma meant something, like it meant fucking Western somehow, it's just related to that. It still sounds like a goofy word. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it can't be.
You can't make gnomes cool. I'm sorry.
No, but it's not. Yeah, but let's say gnome doesn't actually mean small bearded man. Maybe there's something we're missing where it means.
No, gnome is gnome.
There must be something, right? Like, what the fuck is a gnome?
But one of a thesaurus, gnome is just gnome.
A Nomageddon. Anyways, go check out that art. It is cool art, but and tell us if you think this is real or not. Okay. Next up, Nintendo Switch has its first portable-only game you can't play on a TV.
Yeah, which is interesting, because we reported a couple weeks back about how Nintendo had spoken about keeping these fucking, what are their mobile 3DS.
3DS, yeah.
Yeah. As still being supported and still getting games, and now they're releasing their first, or well, they will be releasing their first portable only on the Switch game, which is pretty much just like exactly what they did with the one before, the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance, where they're just like, we'll support the Game Boy Advance, and then they just stopped making games for it.
Yep.
Because who would develop for the 3DS when you can develop for the infinitely more powerful and popular Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Like. So there's this game, Voz? Anyways.
Voez?
Already indie game title number 367.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out, and it's like a tapping game. Anyways, it's a game. It looks cute. But it being Switch only means... To me,
like handheld Switch only can't play on the TV.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's the thing too. Like it can't even be played on the TV. It has to be played mobilely.
Yeah,
which says to me, yeah, you did it again.
Yeah, you're probably going to be banned. I mean, we all knew this, right?
No, but
it's not worst hidden secret probably that they're going to be fucking abandoning the 3. If the Switch does well, they're going to be abandoning the 3DS, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
But, everyone...
The next Pokemon game is going to be Switch only. I can't see it even being on the 3DS.
How many times, though, can Nintendo sit back and say something like this, and it's not the only circumstance where they've done this. They've done it before, where they're like, don't worry, we're going to give you everything you wanted from before and this, but then you're just going to use the other thing.
It's literally just a way to safeguard themselves. That's all it is. It's just PR speak to safeguard themselves.
But they keep going through with unfulfilled promises, right? And other studios have tried to do that. Sony tried to do it before, so has Microsoft with the Xbox. But now, recently... anytime those studios have done anything like with the Xbox One's release where they're just like, oh, we're going to give you all these options, and then they're just like, nope, you have to buy all of it and shit, and everyone's like, boo, fuck you, Xbox One. And then Sony comes back and is like, I listened to you, I did what you wanted to do, so we're the one who won E3 that year and won the initial console war. Not the whole thing, but actually I'd say they won the console war at this point.
I mean, this generation, they've clearly won it.
Yes.
There's no way Xbox catches up.
No.
No way.
But, like, in this world today now, back in the day, you could make these fake promises and go ahead and make these changes, and everyone would be like, "Oh, boo! Well, I buy it anyways." Nintendo is in that situation now. Can they get away with it? And like we were talking about before,
yes, they totally can.
Getting away with a wonky, broken portion of their console, is the portable going to last and not scratch? Mm-hmm. Like, can they survive?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can they survive is a great question. I have no idea right now.
Yeah,
it's really up there. But if the Switch does well, yeah, they're totally going to abandon 3DS. That's going to happen. 3DS is old enough at this point, where I don't even think it's that big of a concern, but if the Switch doesn't do well, I bet the next Pokemon game comes out on 3DS only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wherever Pokemon ends up next, wherever their almost biggest franchise, lands next is probably a good indicator of how well their sales are
doing.
There's
a big question, though, as well, is that, like, with the can't play on TV, which almost makes no sense, right? Although for a game where you have to tap the screen, I guess it does.
But couldn't it still just be up there and you could still be... no, I guess you gotta be looking where your finger is.
Yeah, you could just tie it to buttons and, have the buttons appear.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyways, do you think that Nintendo would make a lot of can't play on TV games? Suddenly it becomes a Switch has actually got, like...
I doubt any game coming...
library of on-TV games.
I doubt any from Nintendo franchise would be handheld only. I can't see them doing that.
No, but that's what I mean. That library is not huge. The from Nintendo library is not huge.
No.
But
how many people are just going to be doing handheld? My only worry for this kind of thing is that now that this is a thing, is a bunch of iPhone fucking devs are just going to start porting shitty iPhone things to the Switch just to be like, oh, handheld only? There you go. Have all the Flappy Birds and Crossy Roads and all this shit.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean, is that what happens if suddenly games just suddenly start turning into handheld only on the Switch? Like, that becomes their market. And
I think it'll look bad for them. It'll drive the overall quality down. Yeah, the impression of it down anyways.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So 30% of their games are on TV and the other 60 to 70% are on fucking handheld only. And suddenly you're buying a Switch basically to buy an overbloated iPhone.
Mm. Well, no. I'm buying a Nintendo product to play Nintendo games only.
But
as I always have done for the last
tie it into
15 years.
Tie it into a full dev cycle for Nintendo. Release all of the titles they always have: Zelda, Melee, blah 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 blah, racing, etc. No more games, because that's usually what they do. They just stop. Right? They promised some third-party dev on this one. All the third-party dev is only handheld only. It can't be put on your TV at all.
All third-party? Not all third-party. I don't know where we're going with this conversation. What do you mean?
I'm talking just general dev as it goes along.
No. You think Nintendo games are going to be the only ones you can play on TV and everything else will be handheld only?
No. That's not what I mean. I think so. The usual titles come out. Big studios release their big games and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But there's not a giant chunk of library titles that go with the Nintendo.
It doesn't matter.
I think it does.
I think you just described the Wii U. You just described the GameCube. Yeah. You just described the N64.
But I don't think that can survive anymore.
Oh, no.
No.
And I don't think so either. Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
That's the point.
Well, I mean, I thought you were making a different point, I think. Oh. Yeah. No, Nintendo... See, Nintendo get a Nintendo. That's just what they do, you know? Like...
But like I keep saying, like with all of these decisions, whether or not can they keep doing that in today's world and market from what we demand from our game systems, and I don't think they can.
I don't think they can. I don't see the Switch going super well either. But yeah, no, I honestly think because I'll probably get a Switch eventually to play Mario Kart and Splatoon 2 and the new Mario looks dope, but it'll probably be a Nintendo only machine. I'll only play Nintendo things as I do, as you do. Next up. Mads Mikkelsen had no idea what Death Stranding was about after Kojima described it. So he said in an interview, he was trying to tell me the whole plot of the game, and it's so elaborate that, I mean, I got lost, but I really wanted to learn more.
I wonder if you could have a conversation with Hideo Kojima where you wouldn't get lost.
Conversation, yes. Anytime he's describing any sort of story he wants to tell, probably not. Like, that doesn't surprise me at all.
You know what he is? He's an annoying kid in an art class who, like, we had these for our creative thinking class, who you'd sit down and be like, okay, tell me the story for your game. And then 45 minutes later, you're like, fuck.
You're like, that's way too ambitious. Yeah. Shut up.
Shut up. You remember these?
Yes.
We had a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
We had a class, actually, where it was presentations versus people bringing up, it was create your own world as a concept artist, right? And we had to just, like, make a presentation, which wasn't drawing anything out, but just, like, writing it down and showing a quick couple of slides, being like, this is the race that's here, and this is the planet, and that's it. Some people were up there going, like, and this sword represents the something dynasty from something something, and this came from that
300 years ago, and
and you're just like 45 minutes in, and they get shut up by the teacher eventually. They're like, all right, we gotta stop there, like, we gotta let someone else up, and they're like, I guess we gotta do the other half of the presentations later.
He's exactly that. Yeah. He's totally that. He just somehow managed to be talented and got good at it.
He just takes walking out on stage, like, down a lit staircase.
And I was kind of hoping that, I mean, look, a lot of Metal Gear story is complicated. There's a lot of weird shit in there. 5 wasn't so complicated. 5 was underdeveloped, but that was from the whole thing at Konami and all the drama going on there. That makes sense. I was kind of hoping Kojima would, I don't want to say tell a simple story, but just something a little, draw it in like a couple notches, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. Just rein it in a little bit when you're telling a story, because it's so all over the place sometimes. It does get confusing. I've played many of the Metal Gears multiple times, and like I could not tell you coherently what that whole story is about.
No.
So I'm hoping Death Stranding is still like, you know, graspable, and it's not all about like...
Well, especially since this game is far more cerebral, apparently, than the fucking... At least with Metal Gear Solid, it's a... I mean, yes, you've got giant robots and people who can, like, float and call on death, but it's grounded in such a base of reality. You can sit back and be like, all right, a guy with a gun shooting, you know?
Yeah.
This has got like tendril babies and shit. Like, I'm afraid.
No, exactly. I want, like, what point is he going to be making? I want to know.
And if Mads Mikkelsen, the man born a villain, can't follow, there's something there.
Yeah, also he is playing Hannibal in that TV show, which was not also the most straightforward story at times. There's a lot of weird symbolism and all this shit going on. Like, he's a man who can understand shit, I think. So, yeah, this is not great.
Like, if you're confusing Mads Mikkelsen, we've got problems.
Yeah. The next one is just a rumor that a bunch of Death Stranding fans are trying to put together. And I just want to report on it because people are, like, really grasping at straws. There's many threads just about Emma Stone being in Death Stranding. And I heard it somewhere before, but I don't know where. Did we talk about it?
No.
I don't know where this fucking came from, but recently he tweeted 3 tweets in a row where he tweeted Norman Reedus in the studio doing something, then just a picture of Mads Mikkelsen, which he does a lot because he's just in love with that man, and then just Emma Stone after she'd won the Oscar, and
which could be related to that.
And everyone because last time he did something like that. He did Norman Reedus, and then the man in an orange mocap suit, and everyone was like, "Who the fuck that?" And we all figured out it was Mads Mikkelsen somehow from that man's 188 follower Instagram post, and it ended up being Mads Mikkelsen. So, again, Kojima doesn't do anything by accident, and a lot of people read too much into a lot of stuff he does. However, he just recently had an interview with Greg Miller of Kinda Funny. Good interview. You should go watch it. It's on Kinda Funny's channel. But,
Kojima?
Yeah. He was at RTX or something. Some event. He wasn't just, like, in his house being like, hey, you sit down.
I was going to be like, Greg Miller, you're getting big time.
Watson, don't do this. And he said, like, Kojima was very much of the mind that, like, the game has already begun. Like, with Death Stranding.
No.
Like, he's like, you need to look in those trailers and find out, like, what's going on. Like, you can figure it all out right now if you want, type thing. And, like, you know, his Twitter plays into that, and, like, the trailers play into that, and, like, he's like, and there are red herrings in there and everything. It's like, so you put false information in the fucking trailers that people are trying to dissect frame by frame? He's nuts. I love that he already thinks, like, he's like, the game is afoot. And you're like, no! It's not! Stop this!
Playing with us for, like, the whole time. It's like that fucking ARG for Sombra from Overwatch. Like, it ran for, like, 6 months or something, and everyone was going into this making the Portal ARG look like shit. Like, it was insanity. Breaking down codes and hacker stuff at a level that I've never even heard of before. All to find out that the ARG was just a way for you to all blow time until they released the champion exactly on schedule. Like, there was no information to be released. It was just you were playing an ARG. And then Sombra came out. Like, everyone was like, what the fuck was the point of this thing?
It was just to distract you.
Yeah. It was like, you were always going to do this. Instead, you just made us play this thing and spend hours working that we didn't, like, you know, us solving it wasn't going to be us getting the character released. This is going to be this shit again. Like, for the next, 2 years?
Yep.
We're going to be playing fucking Hideo Kojima's game, which is a scary game.
Yeah. Yeah. Who fucking knows? I look forward to every minute of it.
I want some really weird shit to happen, though, with him, like, physically. Like, they'll just be at fucking another conference or something, and he'll just keep, like, he'll walk behind someone and just, like, look at the camera the whole time.
He'll start shaving. Yeah. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
He's actually just, it's a cry for help because he's going insane.
In the middle of an interview, he stands up and does, like, some sort of weird, strange motion, like some sort of dance, and then sits back down.
Dude, people read into everything. There was, during Metal Gear 5's whole ramp-up thing, there was a guy in a trailer who had bandages all over his face in one of the trailers, whatever. And then in an interview, the head of a fake game studio that he'd made, was covered in bandages. And this guy looked a little off the way it was filmed. I think it was just 60 FPS. But everyone started thinking, is this guy made of CG? Is this whole thing part of Kojima? It was just a guy. It was just part of an actor or whatever. It wasn't. But there are people who legitimately thought, this guy's made of CG, and that's the Fox engine running in real time. And that's how good those graphics are going to be. And because Kojima's speaking to us through... And I was like, all right, no. All right, next up is...
That's funny part too, is he's probably actually doing nothing. He's at home right now, probably, like, masturbating and eating chocolate. And, like, he's just, like, knows that by saying things, everyone else out there is feeding into it on their own. Like, he has to do nothing. He can just be like, it's all on. Wank, 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 wank. Like,
he can release anything new. It could just be a fucking black image with, like... And if you, like, bring the black image into Photoshop and brighten it up, and it's just, like, this star shape, you're like, what is this? It's just an anus. But, like, people will be like, oh my god, guys, what do I put into Photoshop? You know?
What's the symbol of the anus? What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Entry?
Is it actually a belly button which connects us all by our umbilical cord? You know, it's all this shit. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Alright, next up is Mass Effect. We got fucking full nudity in Mass Effect, and we're also getting in Aaron Flynn's description.
Aaron Flynn's the general manager of Mass Effect or EA. Sorry,
probably BioWare, right?
BioWare, sorry.
Let's check.
Yeah.
Be professionals. He's the BioWare game
BioWare,
manager.
general manager. So his Twitter's been fun for Mass Effect.
I feel like a lot of actual headlines coming out about Mass Effect are from the Twitters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just people, like, when people were like, hey, can I fuck this thing? And the guy was like, yes. And it was like, that made a headline, but, like, the new trailer doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh.
Yeah, like, I keep sending you, and then again, I don't even subscribe to it, just keeps popping up on my feed, being like, game review part 3 this week, right, for the exploration component. Like, that showed up nowhere.
Yeah.
It has 180 views. Like,
it's like BioWare's official channel.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking plummeting views.
Yeah.
But this is like a full headline story. Like, there is nudity and full softcore porn.
But Aaron Flynn's Twitter has been particularly fun because he's just been kind of just like outright saying shit. So one of his other first tweets was, remember, we lost the partial nudity rating and got full nudity.
Yep.
So we're going to get alien nip and alien vag and dick.
Do you think it means that?
Well, full nudity. Unless it's just going to be smoothed over like a Barbie doll.
Yeah, I guess it would be. I guess there's probably going to be a space cock in there. I'm trying to remember. Did you see titties in Mass Effect? Yeah, you must have.
Did you see titties?
I don't remember. You definitely saw ass.
Yeah.
Like ass for sure. I don't remember you saw titties though. I don't think so.
I don't think you saw bare nipple. I think you saw side boob.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was like the tasteful, side boob, yeah. Okay, so this means you definitely get titty, I think. But I'm not sure about the vajou and the dicking. I'm not sure about those. I don't know. Do you think so? Dicks aren't anything new to the video games now. We've got them fully rendered in fucking Watch Dogs.
They're even modeled. They're not even just like a texture. It's an actual full, floppy dealy.
Yeah, so full rendered floppy 3D physics, everything.
Yeah. But it's just so entertaining. Plus, this is technically what we've all been asking for.
Yeah.
And then after that, he goes, what does he say? It's definitely totally softcore space porn.
Yep.
So, you won't see anything entering each other, but it'll definitely be real humping this time.
Good, yep.
Instead of the slow descent to the bed and a fade to black.
Yeah, it's not really what I play Mass Effect for, but it seems like that's what everyone else plays Mass Effect for.
That's a lot of what other people play Mass Effect for. It was the first thing Aaron and I said to each other. Like, Aaron's like, I'm excited for Mass Effect 4, and then I'm like, so am I, and then he's like, I can't wait to see what dudes I have to, what alien dudes I got to fuck, and I'm like, yeah, so far my options are slim, but, But they also have to think about, now, remember we were talking about the biology of the whole thing, right? Now they are going to hump. So, are they all just going to hump like a human?
Oh, yeah. Almost definitely.
Yeah.
We're not going to get we're not going to get into the conversation we had 2 weeks ago about the guy inflating his sack and slowly releasing it, and then gas fills the room, and he's like, you're pregnant now, Shepard. It's not going to be anything weird like that, I don't think. I think it's just straight up going to be, full on, normal human position styles.
Yeah, but what if you can actually romance a Krogan?
I would. Yeah, I guess, no blowjobs, obviously, because of the teeth and the weird mouth shape. It's got an alligator maw, but I don't know. Yeah, I assume they just got...
Wouldn't it be funny if they took off the whole suit and underneath is actually just this really scrawny little lizardy thing,
like a gecko's body?
Yeah, so that giant's outfit is
huge heads and they're just dragging the fucking around.
This was not what I was expecting at all.
Starts laying eggs in the corner of the room. Please fertilize these. I don't know why his voice would change. Fertilize these, Shepard. Shepard Rex. So yeah, looking forward to Mass Effect. I will bone stuff. So I guess we'll both see.
Again, but follow Aaron Flynn's Twitter because this isn't the only example. From other stuff he said. It's just been one highlight after another of weird shit.
I'm sure you'll see him make the headlines within the next 3 weeks again.
Yes. Next
up, Final Fantasy brand was considered quote in danger pre-Final Fantasy 15 and had less than a 5 million initial sales target. So the initial sales for Final Fantasy 15 were under 5 million as Square Enix wasn't confident in the new direction for the series. The series would have ended if that target was not met. Tabata-san explained that Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi told him that his mission was to make Final Fantasy a challenger again by working like this was his last chance. Shortly after Tabata-san was named director of the game, he talked with the head of sales at Square Enix and learned that the sales forecasts for the game were quite low, under 5 million worldwide. Moving away from the turn-based comment had been deemed unwise. Interesting. and that Final Fantasy brand was considered diminished and in danger.
Yeah.
That's why Tabata-san set a sales goal to get 1 million units higher than forecast at 6 million. He thought that setting a high goal would have brought the team together, forcing them to push through whatever obstacle is placed in their way. The sales are now over 6 million, so this is another update to the previous 6 million shipped in early January. He comments on the success. In the end, Final Fantasy 15 was completed and it's finally in everybody's hands. Within a month of release, we'd sold 6 million copies. As I said at the beginning, if we failed this time, there wouldn't be a next time, which means that this probably isn't our final Final Fantasy. The series will probably live on.
Probably.
I like that he says probably. So Tabata is indeed the savior of offline Final Fantasy as a brand.
Well, I mean, we talked about this before. We were well aware that the brand was doomed if 15 didn't work. That's why we were constantly reporting on it. Was not so much that we were thinking that this one game had to be an amazing game, but more so that this game had to be the thing to save our favorite franchise.
Yep.
And it did.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It's always interesting looking back on the beginning of this podcast, is because like you actually got me hyped about Final Fantasy again, because like although I was very interested in Versus 13, I was interested in it back in like 2008.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, but I honestly hadn't been a fan since 10. Really, you know, that was the last good one that I liked.
So was I.
So it was hard for me to keep my hype going for a series that I hadn't liked in 5 entries, you know?
Yeah.
I guess the online ones don't count. I'm sure they're good games. I'm just not an online player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super happy that it's done as well as it has.
So 16's already been slated, and it's in production.
Well, that's not. We don't know that for sure. They've never officially confirmed anything like that.
It is, I guarantee you it is.
Oh, I'm sure they're in pre-production on Final Fantasy 16 right now,
Yeah.
but they have not actually said that.
No, because
I just want to clarify with the audience.
Well, they're going to talk first about whatever next Tokyo RPG Factory is doing next there. They have something they talked about recently. Anyways.
We won't hear about Final Fantasy 16 probably until next year's E3, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
At the earliest, right?
Yeah, at the earliest. And or like December of next year. And also, of course, right now their marketing campaigns are going to be solely based around Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy Remake.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Remake.
Yeah. So, like, we won't really know anything more about that. But, nevertheless, it's so good to hear that, one, it didn't even just do well. It did better than they hoped.
Yep.
It's making them all the money. It's revitalizing the series, which means also, if they had even gotten approval to do a Final Fantasy 16 with the crappy sales numbers that didn't save the franchise, they wouldn't have a team assigned to them. Because the way that it works with the company would have been, okay, so you get one more chance, last chance, Final Fantasy 16, but you get half the team and half the budget. And you get a shittier game. And it requires you to be a director running around being like, this extraordinary talent and this extraordinary talent. Let's pray to God we put something together that's great. This time now, once, as per any time Square Enix still to today puts money behind a project, it's just an orgasm every time. So...
I think the most interesting thing in that quote was that they considered a move away from turn-based combat unwise.
That's very interesting.
Which is weird because I feel like they're not reading the temperature right of the general gaming populace. I think that turn-based is not something that mass market wants. I think even people like you and me are very particular if we are going to play a turn-based game about what we play. And we would both play a turn-based Final Fantasy game, obviously, because we're big Final Fantasy fans. But I don't think, by and large, that the main they wouldn't have sold 6 million if it was turn-based.
No, it was just this very loud core fan base, which is probably what it would have been 2 to 3 million sales for that of the 2 to 3 million core fan base, because the fan base itself is also split between the people who want the turn-based back to the original and being like, don't touch my original Final Fantasy, it's got to be the turn-based, to the people like us who are like, yes, change it and make it new. So, they would not have done very well at all. It was just them listening, thinking that they needed to hold on to what was classic. But Japan doesn't even like the classic stuff anymore.
Yeah, I'm just... It's weird to me. I would have thought that this direction would have been like embraced by them and be like, we need to change it at this point. You know what I mean?
They even kind of tried to force out of that forecast by releasing I Am Setsuna, which was a great game, apparently. I'm still looking forward to playing it myself. But like it's a classic turn-based JRPG. They expected this game to be this kind of like underground like success. Now it was successful and it was a good game, but it was not like take the world by storm, make me 6 more versions and 12 new sequels.
Bravely Default was kind of that for them, though. Bravely Default was the one that was a turn-based JRPG on the 3DS, and they were like, they released it, and they were like shocked it did so well. They were like, what, people want this?
Yeah.
And then they made a second one, and it also did very well, so we're probably going to get a Bravely third at some point. But yeah, I'm just happy to hear that Final Fantasy is doing well. We're on our way to 16.
Yep.
Last story. Destiny characters will be reset in Destiny 2. Bungie confirms. We
This
reported on
pissed
this.
off so many people.
Yes, and like I said, remember I told you people would be a man. We reported on this 2 weeks ago as a rumor, I believe, and then now it's been confirmed by Bungie. Sorry. So what they said was sequels represent the start of a new adventure for every player, with new worlds to explore, new stories to tell, new powers to acquire, new loot to earn, and much more. This led us to a decision that would enable us to serve both the game and players' best interests. Destiny 1 power, possessions, and Eververse-related items and currency will not carry forward. They will, however, remain accessible to you in Destiny 1. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
That's a dumb thing to clarify.
If I'm going to play Destiny 1, you get access to Destiny 1 content.
We know that, just like us, you've grown fond of the Guardians you've created, so we do plan to preserve your character personalization. We're going to recognize the dedication and passion you've shown for this world, specifically the class, race, gender, face, hair, and marking selections for all characters that have achieved level 20 and completed the Black Garden story mission will carry forward. We also plan to award those veteran accounts with honors that reflect your Destiny 1 accomplishments. So
you get to keep the face. You probably will change once you get into Destiny 2.
Yep. And in fact, you have more options to customize in 2, so if you really like your character, at this point, you might as well just recreate them with a mustache if you want, or whatever you want, right? You have more options to customize.
Why would it looks the same. I put a helmet on it the whole time anyways. Like, whatever. But...
Also, a great point.
Yes.
Fantastic point.
Yes. Like they literally all had the same helmets on by the end of it. Like, you never saw your face ever in that game. Everyone, even in the fucking tower, chose to put their helmets on because they wanted to see their armor. They didn't want to have it.
And it looks cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, but as a bigger question, though, is what would people expect? Like, how would you bring characters over to a new game that would be fair? There's no way that you showing up with, like, a level 50 light character with fucking exotics.
No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. I mean, characters have been brought over to other games before. Like, even think about fucking Mass Effect 2. Shepard was destroyed and he had to be rebuilt, so that was the excuse for all his abilities being gone. But he was still your Shepard with the face.
With the face.
He was still your Shepard with the face.
No, but
you know,
that's a single player game. You're talking about a multiplayer game where your gear and level
maybe you
makes
get,
a difference.
or maybe you even get like you keep like one original power. If you had a warlock, you know, you keep whatever the fucking shitty base thing was, and you bring it over, and you have that because you had that in Destiny 1 or something like that. Not a whole like. I never expected someone to be like, yeah, you bring in your fucking character and you just wiping shit out from the very beginning. I don't think anyone expected that.
No, I think people expected that.
No.
Yeah, will you guys tell us?
I feel like if you logically think about it for even a second, which maybe is giving some people too much credit, like, yeah, you're right. Like, you absolutely cannot just bring in, you know, it'd be like starting a Pokemon game with being like, yeah, with your last game, just transfer your Charizard over and you can just use him from the beginning, you know?
No, I mean, Destiny players out there, did you guys expect to be able to drag over your level 50 character? Now, I know that everyone spent so long grinding these characters up.
I think that's what people want. I think people want, because they spent so much time grinding, some sort of... Because this fucking honor that reflects your Destiny 1 accomplishments, that's going to be like a medal in a menu you never go to. You know what I mean?
As a player, if I was in this context, I understand the frustration after grinding up your characters so much. However, if I was to come up with an idea of how they would make this a little bit more pleasing, is give specific visual rewards that you would get. So let's say you play a warlock, right? And warlocks don't exist in Destiny 2 for some reason or some shit. You know, make it so that you can get like a skin that doesn't count as an equipment slot or anything like that. That adds like all these like long tassely bits to the back of all of your
equipment. Even something like that, that like lets people know I played Destiny 1. I'm a fucking badass. I did the Black Garden, whatever. Even something like that is a little bit more like I think people just want some recognition that's, you know, visual or, you know.
Well, it would only have to be visual. Anyone who expects anything that would give you an actual power upgrade when you start the game is kind of fooling themselves, because you don't get the right to have more than everyone else just because you played a game before.
You get 2 extra skill points at the very beginning.
That's fine.
You know, something like that even. Although, I'm not sure that's what the people are looking for either.
No, but that would be fine. If it's something that just, like, would literally not make a huge, massive difference. Or maybe if you... Some games I have seen do this, and I'm a bit back and forth on it, where, like, you start the game out, and other players would start at 1, but games who came from before would start at level 10 or something like that. You know? Maybe.
Yeah, something that's like, you start at level 5. Yeah. You know, your first part of your skill tree is unlocked. Something, right? Like, I don't know. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But like, yeah, you can't bring in a fucking level 100 character or whatever.
No, like you're not just gonna start out the gate and just be like, bah, you know. So,
but people didn't respond very well to this. I wonder if people fucking
like.
I have 1,000 hours in Destiny. I'm okay with this. I'm fine with the gear and level reset, but the Everest reset is kind of a kick in the pants. People have spent the money. Not too surprised. Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just kept telling me I can carry over my emblems and shaders. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, that's actually true because the shaders, like
emblems and shaders just don't matter.
Yeah, and that's a visual thing, just like you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyways, yeah, like I said, we're both looking forward to Destiny 2. We really hope it recaptures us. I would love for it to recapture us.
I would, I pray that it does, but I don't have a lot of hopes for it.
Well, we'll see this year.
I have this weird reaction with fucking Destiny 1 though, is that some people I know are still playing it, and they're like, they're having a conversation. They're like, I miss you. You should come back and play Destiny. It's such a well refined and well balanced game, and I'm like, what? Who? You think that? Like, honestly?
Maybe it is now, though.
No, it isn't.
We don't know.
No.
It totally could be. I mean, I haven't played it even longer than you. I have no idea.
No, there's no way. That's the sound of Watson calling the bell.
That's right. So this is it for this episode of Pens and Pixels Podcast. Pens and Pixels Podcast, episode 66.
Yeah.
If you like what you heard, go fucking rate, subscribe, YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at TheCalG. You can find Mike at Mike Kent Draws. Pens and Pixels across all social medias. Pick your poison.
Yep. So you be sure to like, share, subscribe on all major portals that we use: SoundCloud, iTunes. We've got it on YouTube, so subscribe to us on YouTube or any of the other services that we host on. Be sure to comment. We do love to hear from you guys. We also like to have conversation, and we promise we do respond back every time you do. So, yeah, we're looking forward to hear from you. And we'll talk to you guys.
Hardcore space thing.